Let's find some gloves. Gloves. Glove. 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 All you need is glove. 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 Driving like a drunken sailor. I smell the flowers in the air. Sometimes I think you just have to know when to throw in the towel. As much as I hate giving up, sometimes you just have to call it. Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining me on this fine Talking Tuesday. Well, actually, this is yesterday. All my troubles seem so far away. Well, it's really Monday. It's President's Day. So, happy belated President's Day to everyone. And to all of my friends and viewers outside of the United States, happy Monday. Although apparently Tuesday is the great equalizer. Welcome to Talking Tuesday. I'm on my way to get gas and to go to the pawn shop. And with a full tank of petrol, I am going to head up to a pawn shop up in Somerville. I've been online looking around for film cameras, and they're not super expensive, but I'm pretty in debt from the last camera, so I have to be smart about it. People are like, oh, you got a Harley, you must have all kinds of money. No, I used to, but I've been looking online for a film camera and decided I'm going to check the local pawn shops. Maybe I can get one a little bit cheaper, and I can see what it actually looks like. So I've checked a couple of pawn shops so far, and one didn't have any film cameras, and what they did have was questionable. And the other pawn shop was like, no, we don't do film cameras anymore. What? Are you crazy? So I'm going to go up to this other one. When I looked there several months ago, they had quite a few a couple of film cameras. So we're on a little trip today. We're taking a little trip. Take a little trip. Take a little trip with me. I did have another video sort of prepared. I've had this idea in my head for a while about another series I want to do, and it's really in celebration of the weekend. And I didn't have anything for today's video, so I set up the camera and started doing that one. But honestly, it was kind of a halfway job. I wasn't really comfortable with it. It wasn't what I wanted either, so I decided just to get out on the bike and do a little traditional moto vlogging. I was in one of the Facebook groups last week or the week before, and somebody had posted, hey, does anybody do real estate photography? And since I have such a niche market with the motorcycle stuff, I really often thought that I need to find something else that I can do that I want to do that I can make some actual money from. And I thought real estate photography might be a good one. And there's a particular wide angle lens I'd like to get. It's a little pricey, but if you're going to be making money from this, which you would, it's worth the investment. But I just haven't pursued it because I've had so many other things going on. So they posted and said, hey, anybody interested in doing some real estate photography? I really can't, I don't have the time to do it. So I responded, but basically my response was, I would love to, but honestly, I don't have the cycles. Cycles. See what I did there? Okay, I've got cycles. I don't have the cycles. I recently went out and got some off-camera lighting and a big softbox. I've got the new EOS R camera. I've got a lot of stuff I have to put to work. I've kind of committed to taking better portraits. I've kind of committed to learning wedding photography. And all of that is a full-time job in itself. I kind of had to walk away from the opportunity of doing real estate photography, even though I think it would have been really a good thing. But I just don't have the time. I've got too many things to do as it is. So I had to turn it down. Now this morning I was thinking about my poor 72 Ironhead sitting out there, and it was just over a year ago that I said, if I don't get it built this year, I'm gonna get rid of it and get it to somebody who will. Although it's really hard separating from it because, well, A, I hate to give up on anything. I hate it. And B, I really would like to build it. But it just hasn't been happening because I've got so many other things to do. I just don't have time. It's not a matter of skill or money or any of that stuff. It really comes down to what's more important to me. Quite honestly, this channel's more important to me. My photography career is more important to me, learning those skills. And of course I have to reserve time for my wife. So yeah, I've kind of made the commitment, the decision that I'm just gonna get rid of it and sell it. You know, I got it in boxes, and the guy who sold it to me, who I trust, I know him, insisted that it's all there, it just needs to be put together. And I didn't do an inventory or anything, but it really hasn't moved from my garage, so I think it's all still there, it just needs to be put together. Now he was gonna sell it for $2,200. Because I know him, he's a friend of mine, I got it for $1,600. Tell you straight up. I am looking at getting $1,000 for it. So I think I'm going to be able to sell that off for $1,000. I mean, it's a pretty complete iron head engine. As far as I know, there's nothing mechanically wrong with it. It just needs to be cleaned up and put back together. It's a sad day for me, but you know, it's going to free up some space in my garage. It's going to free up some time, and it's going to free up some space in my head. But I really would have liked bragging rights to be able to ride my own bike around. Yeah, maybe someday. Maybe not. You know, honestly, if it came down between rebuilding that bike or spending that time out traveling and bringing you video and taking pictures, I mean, you know, I don't want to make it sound all sacrificial. It's not all about you. But just being able to do what I really enjoy doing, and that's this. So if it comes down between that bike and this, you know, I just don't have the cycles for it. My wife said, well, you have time. It's just a matter of, you know, what's got more of a priority. And I understand that. And the bike, it is a priority, but not as priority as everything else I'm doing. So I just don't have the time. Wish I did. Really wish I did. But what am I going to give up for it? Photography? I don't think so. Making videos? No, I can't really throw that away at this point. So I just don't have anything to give up for the time that it would take to build that bike. And of course, money's a factor. You know, if I'm going to put money into the bike, I'd really rather take that money and put it into some traveling. So the trip to the pawn shop was kind of a bust. They had one lens, which was actually very sexy. 28mm lens with an FD mount, which fits the old film mount, which I would like to get that camera. So if I do buy that film camera, I know where I can get another lens for it for $60. But they did not have any film cameras. So I went to the other pawn shop that seemed to have a lot of film cameras last time I was there, and they were closed. I don't know if it's because it's a national holiday or they're just closed. I don't know. You know, if you're not a federal agency, it seems like a funny day to be closed. Because normally people who are working are off today. And they want to come into your pawn shop. But, c'est la vie. I don't know how this is going to turn out on camera, but just a gray, gnarly day. Luckily it stopped raining, so that helped a lot. But it's just gray and cloudy. It's not too terribly chilly, which is nice. Wouldn't want to be out here in a t-shirt. I don't know, man. I can't complain. A lot of people still have snow. You know, Charleston is a destination for a lot of stuff. A lot of tourism type stuff. A lot of style and culture and that kind of thing. And there are a boatload, probably more than that, of just outstanding restaurants down here. And I would love to get people in this area in a competition on my channel. We went down to Key West and I ate at Bad Boy Burrito. And I gotta tell you, I'm gonna say it again, if you're ever in Key West, you gotta eat at Bad Boy Burrito. Best burrito I've ever had in my life. But one of the things I realized when I was walking around Key West looking for pictures is that a lot of what's there, we have in Charleston. We have back home. We have beach, we have back roads, we have culture. And I couldn't help but think when I was walking around there that I spent a lot of money to do things I could have done back home. But we don't have a Bad Boy Burrito. We should. I have a feeling anywhere they went, they would clean up. But it got me thinking about, well, what do we have in this area? You know, it took me a very long time to find really good barbecue here. I'm in the South, and I couldn't find barbecue. I finally did find the best barbecue place around, and they closed up. And then I found the remaining best barbecue place around, and that guy's actually from Texas. which just makes me want to go to Texas. But wouldn't it be cool to get people in this area and maybe in your area, especially for you vloggers and content creators and bloggers and that, media makers, influencers. Wouldn't it be great to get a competition going where you could go in and just rate restaurants in your area and say, hey, look, I'm a content creator. I do all this media. I have X amount of viewers, and I'd like to come in, and for the cost of a meal, for the cost of the best meal you want to throw at me, I will rate your restaurant. I will do a review of your restaurant. Now, it's really not free because you still have to spend the time to go down there, eat, film, edit. There's a lot of work that goes into it. Compared to how much they would probably pay for a commercial, I'm guessing that the cost of that meal would be minuscule. It's a great idea. Haven't figured out how to approach it yet. I know there have to be burritos in this area that will be at least as good as Bad Boy Burrito. I know there have to be tacos to die for here. Not tacos that'll kill you, tacos to die for. And food. Seafood, I know we've got some of the best seafood around in Charleston. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. Here's the engagement question of the day. I posted a photo to one of the Facebook groups, and somebody was saying that, they had a back injury and they can't really ride hardtails anymore, and I get it. And somebody else posted, I lost both legs and I'm still getting around just fine. And I thought about the question that I ask myself all the time. If I were in a serious accident, would I get back on the bike? Now, I'd like to think so, but it's really easy saying that from this side of the equation. I know a guy who got spooked by somebody else getting in an accident and they don't ride anymore. I get it. I think that's a bit extreme, but to each his own. I was going to work one morning several years ago, and all the traffic in front of me stopped suddenly. I think somebody crossed the road in front of them. They all slammed on their brakes, and I kind of tried stopping, but I nailed the woman's front corner of her fender, of her bumper, and ended up sliding around and down under her car. And it was 35 miles an hour. It wasn't a bad accident. But for weeks and weeks after that, I followed way behind everybody because it was just fresh in my memory. So, it's times like that that make me think, well, maybe I wouldn't get back on. Like I said, I'd like to think I would. I'd like to think I couldn't help but get back on because I love it so much. But, the brain's a funny thing. I know the guy that got in the accident didn't get back on, but, he had small kids and a family and he was concerned. And that's reasonable. So how about yourself? Have you been in a similar situation? Even if you hadn't, would you get back on after a major accident? Do you really think you would? They say there's two kind of bikers, either the ones that have gone down or the ones that are going to go down. I've also heard from people, and I'd like to believe that it's true, that that's a falsehood. That you can actually ride for, your entire riding career without going down at all. Which would be cool, except I've already kind of blown that one. In my mind, I'm kind of hoping that my lots of little wrecks add up to my big wreck, so I don't have to do that anymore. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. How about yourself? Have you been in similar situations? What do you think you would do? I appreciate you being here again. I appreciate you riding with me. And I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.